We're closing in on fall weather. Summer is we're over the hump in that regard. And normally I wait till spring to plant a lot of my herbaceous perennials. And you know what, but I've just got a lot more time in the fall. And one of the challenges that I think most people have when they're planting perennials is they come in and they're so root bound. One of the things I do, quite honestly, is if I think that plant is dry at all, I submerge it into water. And they're dry because the nurseries have to use a very light mix to avoid root rot. Also for shipping, they want a light, sterile mix. Now that's a disadvantage for us on the other end. When we want to do planting, we have to be real diligent at watering. So if you start out with a dry root ball and you're putting that in the ground, it can be quite difficult to keep it wet watering from the top. Water comes on the top, runs away, and that root ball slowly dries down. So what I normally do, I get a bucket and I fill it with water. Now this takes a little more time to do, but boy, it sure pays off. That plant is going to be able to be in that ground, and you get a little bit more leeway on your watering practices. But what I've done, you can either leave the pot on or you can take it off. And when you push it in there, oftentimes you'll hear air bubbles kind of start just exhausting themselves. So now what we've got here, got a totally saturated root ball going into the ground. Look at that water pouring off of it. We're going to go ahead and loosen those roots just a little bit. Look at that, we got a little bit of a droop right there. Even though we surface water this, you know, you're probably not getting that water down far enough. If you've got 2 or 3 buckets while you're planting one, you can go ahead and you can submerge another. And I can hear the air bubbles. We're going to go ahead and pop the lapel microphone off as we drop this in. We'll see if we can hear those air bubbles evacuating. Here we go.
I thought you stopped it.
I did. It was good. I work in the garden center industry, and I'm going to do a plug for Monrovia, and I'm not getting paid for this, but Monrovia's got one of the best labels on the market for sure. Not only from a store use, from our point of view with our barcodes and pricing, but just the information. The plants as well, just excellent, excellent perennials that we get in stock from them. We've got a Dakota Burgundy Beard Tongue. Well, with the name Dakota in it, and we live in the Dakotas, we had to have one of them. Let's go ahead and we'll get this one out. I was just going to mention, I got to make sure I dig careful. Just came across one of the irrigation lines. That would have created a whole new set of variables, as I probably would have had to go about 1.5 feet on each side of this hole to get in there and couple it. So we dodged the bullet, but it brings up another point. Can you plant your plants right on top of an irrigation line? And sure, why not? I do it all the time. If you're going to have a leak or a problem down the road, you can always just dig up that plant and get at it. But the root system, they'll just go right around it. Oh! And the finishing touches is putting on a little extra mulch. You know, even though all garden centers may not offer a hardiness warranty when you plant herbaceous perennials, it doesn't hurt to ask. Maybe if you're going to put in, you know, 6 perennials, they'll make an exception and take on a little bit of that winter risk with you. Thanks for watching this garden hike. We'll see you again next video.